Well, Advocate Charles Mnisi, representing accused number 3 in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, has accused a state witness and Meyiwa's close friend, Mthokozisi Thwala, of coming to court to fabricate evidence to suit a certain narrative of how the deceased passed on. Mnisi was wrapping up his cross-examination in the North Gauteng High Court over what transpired the night the former Bafana captain was fatally shot. Bongani Ntanzi, Mzikiwa Kutlelwa Sibia, Mtobisi Mncube, Mthokoziseni Mabisa and Fiso Kuhle Ntuli have pleaded not guilty to charges of murder, attempted murder, armed robbery, possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition for the 2014 murder of Meyiwa. To get more on the latest, let's go now to our SABC news reporter, Ofentse Setimo. Ofentse, good evening. More contradictions seemingly emerging in Mthokozisi Thwala's testimony. The defense is accusing him of trying to fabricate his own narrative. What was this about?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your viewers. Well, I can tell you that, it was quite tense at the Pretoria High Court today as some of the advocates that are representing the accused in the murder trial of Senzo Meyiwa actually tried to further discredit statements that were actually made by the state witness, that is Mthokozisi Thwala. As you know, that he had initially, a day after the incident actually happened in 2014, he gave statements to the police actually saying that Longwe Thwala, upon the arrival of the intruder, he actually stood up, rushing to him, trying to take his firearm, trying to disarm him. But in court, when he was testifying, he actually said that no, that was not the case. Actually, when the intruder entered the house and approached the lounge where they were sitting, Longwe Thwala stood up, pushed the intruder to the side and actually rushed outside. But what the defense attorneys could not understand was the fact that after Longwe Thwala went outside, none of the intruders actually pursued him to try and avoid him actually alerting some of the other people that there was actually an incident that's happening at the Thwala house. Another encounter that we found, and another statement that actually contradicted what Mthokozisi Thwala was actually saying, was a statement given by the neighbor to Kelly Khumalo's home, who said that the kitchen door to his house is actually directly on the same side as the kitchen door to Kelly Khumalo's house. And he mentioned that he had the first shot and he had the second shot, but when he observed the exit to the kitchen of Kelly Khumalo's house, none of the people actually came out. And as you know, in a testimony, Mthokozisi Thwala had mentioned that immediately after the first shot rang out, he actually ran out and pushed the second intruder who was at the kitchen and tried to escape. And that's when the second intruder actually pursued him. And when he was pursuing him, he said he jumped a wall. But only to find out that he actually jumped a gate. And these are some of the discrepancies that were actually not in his statement given to police, but these are some of the issues that he actually mentioned in court. So the defense counsel was actually poking holes at some of the statements that he had made. And we know that tomorrow, which is Friday, Advocate Shololo, who's representing accused number 5, is actually going to start her own cross-examination. And, it's the name of the game. They're actually going to try to discredit the statement that has been made thus far. And the two counsels, one for accused number 3 and one for accused number 4, to a certain extent have managed to deal a big blow to the statement that was made by Thwala. At some point he was conceding, as they were actually comparing his statement to that made by Longwe Thwala, to that made by Kelly Khumalo's sister, and to that made by Kelly Khumalo. You could see that there were some discrepancies there in terms of the statements themselves. Some were actually saying that the body of Senzo Meyiwa, after the incident had happened and he had been shot down, he had been shot, he was actually in the lounge next to the couch and the TV stand. But there's also discrepancies there, because when Thwala was explaining, he put a different position. But today he did concede that yes, there definitely are differences in the statements that he made and some of the testimonies that he made in court. And when compared to other statements of the people that were in the house when the intruder came in, they found that yes, there were also discrepancies. And that's what led to the two advocates actually telling him that he's actually fabricating the evidence. In fact, the advocate for accused number 3 went as far as even saying that, the evidence itself will not stand the test of time because, lies actually grow legs. So it was quite interesting to hear the choice of words that were actually being used and the tension that was there also, as I know that the advocate for accused number 3 who actually, scolded Mthokozisi Thwala, actually saying that he's being evasive to some of the questions that are there. Yes.
All right. Well, thanks for that, for bringing us some of the texture and the color inside court, but also really important. So this is a state witness that is on the stand, and several of the defense attorneys have managed to poke holes, as you put it, into his story. The question is, where does it leave the state's case? How strong is that case? Now, our reporter, Ofentse Setimo, bringing us the latest on developments in the Senzo Meyiwa trial.